Hi, and thanks for joining me for the fourth episode of If the Phrase Fits. I'm Brian Foden. I've got an explosive show for you this time. That is, all of the idioms in this show are about guns or explosions. The first one I want to discuss is jump the gun. As you may know, jump the gun means to do something too soon without thinking about it enough or making the proper preparations. So, if you think someone is not being careful enough and should think about things more before acting, you can say, "Wait a minute, don't jump the gun." Unlike many idioms where the origin seems debatable or it sounds like someone is taking a wild guess, there is agreement on jump the gun. Sources I've checked say it refers to the practice of using a starter's pistol to start a foot race. If a runner started running before the pistol was shot, he or she would be thrown out of the race. It's still that way today. So if you're in the Olympics, the last thing you want to do is jump the gun. Of course, you can jump the gun in many other ways. Any kind of mistake that you make by taking action too early can be described as jumping the gun. Apparently, this idiom dates back to about 1830. Okay, let's look at another idiom with the word gun in it. Stick to one's guns. If you stick to your guns, you stay strong and don't back down, even though you face opposition. It can be tough to stick to your guns, but I think it's a good idea if you know you are absolutely right. The origin of this idiom is pretty interesting. Originally, when it began being used in the mid-1700s, it literally referred to guns. More specifically, it ordered military men to keep shooting their weapons while under heavy attack, even if they might lose the battle. Actually, that might not be the right sound effect because I've read on the internet that it may have initially been used in reference to sailors not leaving their posts during the heat of battle, even if the enemy was about to take control of their ship. Okay, now let's take a look at a couple of idioms that don't use the word gun directly, but are closely associated with that weapon. The first one is bite the bullet. If you bite the bullet, you face a tough situation. It means being brave and facing a difficult situation instead of running away from it. For instance, let's say that a woman wants to break up with her boyfriend, but she finds it very difficult to do that. Finally, one day, even though she is quite nervous, she gives him the bad news. Then you could say she finally bit the bullet and broke up with her boyfriend. So where did this interesting idiom originate from? One possibility is that it is related to the practice of having someone biting on a bullet during a painful operation. Today, when undergoing any kind of surgery, we are given an anesthetic so we don't feel pain during the procedure. However, these drugs weren't introduced until the 1840s. Before then, surgery was an extremely painful thing. I don't even want to go there. Ugh. Naturally, people would scream in pain. Letting them bite on a bullet would allow them to clench their jaw without breaking their teeth because lead was supposedly softer than human teeth. I don't think bullets were the only things used this way, though. I've read leather straps or pieces of wood were more common, but bite the leather strap doesn't have that special feeling about it, I suppose. Interestingly, there's another theory about the origin of bite the bullet. According to a website called Grammar Monster, the idiom most probably originated from the time when India was under the control of the United Kingdom. The writer of that site noted that back then, animal fat was used to seal the casings of bullets. To separate the head of the bullet from the casing, it was common to bite the casing. This was apparently distasteful to the Indian soldiers, possibly because it was against their religion to eat beef. Sounds like a possible explanation, doesn't it? By the way, that was the British national anthem, in case you didn't recognize it. Maybe I should also play the Indian national anthem for the sake of equality. Okay, so now it's time to quickly rewind and summarize the idioms I discussed. First, we looked at jump the gun, which means to do something before you should. Then I talked about stick to your guns, meaning to stay strong and don't back down when facing strong opposition. Also, there was bite the bullet, or to bravely face a difficult situation. I hope you enjoyed these explosive idioms. Thanks for listening to my podcast, If the Phrase Fits. If you'd like to suggest an idiom, proverb, or other expression, please email me at ifthephrasefits@gmail.com. And thanks for listening, and thanks to zapsplat.com for the audio.